Welcome to this class. We've done a video earlier of this topic, waves or light waves, where we talked about optics earlier, and these are questions based on that previous topic. If you have not seen a video of optics, please go to our channel right now and view the video. Meanwhile, let us continue with questions based on optics. The first question here says, what is the angle of incidence equal to in the law of reflection? What is the angle of incidence equal to in the law of reflection? In the law of reflection, we said that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, and that is what option C. So the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Moving on to question number 2, it says, what happens when light passes from air into water? When light passes from air into water, it bends, and it bends towards the normal. So you discover that when light travels from air, if this is air and this is water, this is my normal. So when light travels from air, this is my normal here. So when light travels from air into water, you discover that what it bends towards the normal. So the correct answer here is option D, which says that well, it bends towards the normal. So moving on to question number 3, it says, which lens is used to correct short-sightedness? Which lens is used to correct short-sightedness? Now, we talked about short-sightedness earlier, and we said that in short-sightedness, the person can see objects that are very close, but cannot see objects that are far off. And we use what? Concave lens for correcting that. That is option B. Moving on to the next question, which is question number 4. It says, what type of image is formed by a plane mirror? And we said that a plane mirror forms upright but virtual image. It forms upright but virtual image. That's what? Virtual and upright image, which is what? Option D. So that takes us to question number 5. It says, the bending of light as it passes from one medium to another is called dash. The bending of light as it passes from one medium to another is called dash. That is what? Refraction. So when light passes from one medium to another and bends as a result of transfer from one medium to another, it is called what? Refraction. That is what? Option D. So that is also question number 6. It says, a convex mirror always forms what type of image? A convex mirror always forms what type of image? Option A says real and inverted. Option B says virtual and upright. Option C says real and upright. And option D says virtual and inverted. When you say real, it means that whatever you are seeing in the image is exactly what you are seeing in the object. And when you say it is inverted, it means that it is turned upside down. So does a convex mirror forms an image that is real but inverted? So that's what we're going to find out. So looking at the options here, the correct answer to this is that it forms a virtual image, but the image is upright. It forms a virtual image, but the image is upright. So that takes us to question number 7, which says, which part of the human eye controls the amount of light entering? Now, when I was explaining this in the topic, I said that the part of the human eye that has a finger-like structure, where when you move from a dark room to a room that is lit up, you discover that what? You start having eye pain sensation as a result of too much light entering the eye. And the part of the human eye that is responsible for the amount of light that enters the eye is the iris. So the iris is a finger-like structure that what? Controls the amount of light that enters or leaves the eye. And that is what? Option C. So that takes us to question number 8. It says the ability of a lens to converge or diverge light depends on its dash. Now, I explained earlier that we have two types of lenses. We have the convex lens and the concave lens. And the difference between the convex and the concave lens, looking at their structure, you discover that the difference between this and this is their shape. So this is your convex lens and this is your concave lens. So the difference between this and this is their shape. So this is able to converge light So this converges and this diverges. So converge means it is bringing it to a point. To diverge means it is spreading out from a point. So your concave lens, it diverges light rays, while your convex lens, it converges light rays. So the ability to converge or diverge light is based on their shape. So it is their shape that what allows them to be able to do this. And that is what? Option C. So that takes us to question number 9, which is what type of mirror is used in a car's rear view mirror? I explained that earlier, where I said that in a car rear view mirror, you see written there that what objects in this mirror are closer than they appear. So if you have not seen our video on optics, please go and check that video. You see a full explanation of this. I told you that what your car rear view mirror uses a convex lens. Hence, it is written there that objects in this mirror are closer than they appear, and that is what option C. So that is question number 10, which says the refractive index is the ratio of the speed of light in dash. So the refractive index, we said that what? The refractive index is equal to sine I over sine R. But that is not all. The refractive index is also equal to speed in vacuum over speed in medium. The refractive index is also equal to 1 over sine C, where C is critical angle. So there are over 6 formulas for refractive index. So one of the formulas is what they're asking us, that what is the formula for the refractive index? That has to do with what? The ratio of the speed of light. So we have the speed of light in vacuum over the speed of light in medium. So it talks about what? The speed of light in vacuum to the speed in medium. And that is what? Option C. So that is also question number 11, which says, what instrument is used to view very distant objects? What instrument is used to view very distant objects? When we're talking about optical instrument, I told you that what the telescope is what? An optical instrument that is used to view distant objects and makes them larger or make them appear closer. And that is the what? The telescope. Option C. So that is also question number 12. We say, what defect causes blurred vision due to irregular curvature of the cornea? Now we talked about the myopia, we talked about hypermyopia, which is a long-sightedness, but there was a particular defect that I made mention in that video where I told you that there's a defect called astigmatism, and astigmatism causes blurred vision as a result of irregular curvature of the cornea. So the correct answer to that question is astigmatism. So moving on to question, which is option C. Moving on to question number 13. It says, which lens is thicker at the center than at the edges? Which lens is thicker at the center than at the edges? Option A says the concave lens. Option B says the convex lens. Option C says the cylindrical lens. And option D says the plano-concave lens. Now, when I was explaining the types of lenses, I told you that these lenses differ, that these two lenses differ based on their shape. And if you look at this two shape here, you discover that what? At the center here is thicker than the edges. But here the center is thinner than the what? Edges. So the lens that has what? Thicker center than the edges is the what? Convex lens. And that is what? Option B. So that takes us to question number 14, which is, what is the principal axis in a lens or a mirror? What is the principal axis in a lens or a mirror? So when I have a mirror like this, if this is a mirror, this is a concave mirror, for example, that the principal axis is a perpendicular line to the center. So this is my principal axis. The principal axis is a perpendicular line through the center of the mirror. So a perpendicular line through the center of the mirror is called the principal axis. So the correct answer to this question is that the principal axis is the perpendicular line through the center of the mirror or through the center of the lens. And that is what? option B. This is question number 15, which says an image formed by a concave mirror when object is beyond the center is dashed. Now, the image formed by a concave mirror when the object is beyond the center is always real, but it is inverted. And that is what option B, real but inverted. Moving on to question number 16, it says a magnifying glass uses which type of lens? A magnifying glass uses a convex lens. A magnifying glass uses a convex lens, which is option B. Moving on to question number 17, it says which instrument uses two convex lenses to magnify small objects? Now, in the video of the tutorial, I explained that a microscope uses two convex lenses to magnify small objects, and that the correct answer here is option A, which is what? Microscope. Moving on to question number 18, it says what forms the image on the retina? Now, we explained in that video that on the retina, the lens forms an image on the retina. So it is the lens that projects an image on the retina. So it is the lens that forms the image on the retina, which is what? Option C. So that takes us to question number 19, which is what causes dispersion of light into a spectrum? So when light passes through a prism, a triangular prism to be precise, it forms a spectrum of light where you have different colors of light in the forms of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And that we call what? The spectrum of light with what? The different colors. And that is what? Dispersion of light. It is what? The prism. So a prism, which is option C, is what causes what? Dispersion of light into spectrum. So that takes us to question number 20, which is what happens when light passes through a concave lens? So when light passes through a concave lens, so this is a concave lens. So if light passes through this lens here, what is going to happen when the light hits this lens? At this point, they are going to what? Move outward. They are going to start moving outward. So, and that is what? They are going to diverge. So when light passes from the normal traveling pattern, which is the parallel ray, and passes through a concave lens, the rays will diverge. So the correct answer is option A. So we've come to the end of today's class, come to the end of this question and answering session. Don't forget to drop your comment in the comment section, and go to our channel to check the video of a full tutorial of this topic. Thank you.
Hi, I'm sure you enjoyed the content you just watched. To see more episodes as that, preparing you for your oncoming exams, smash the subscribe button on this channel right now and visit the playlist that we've made for you, covering over 50 types of different exams, including JAMB, WAEC, Cacao, NET, IALT, and the likes like that. Also, in every video you watch, we have the link to our apps where you can download on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store and practice hundreds of past questions for free.